Well, well, well. I'm back. I took another break. It's been 2 breaks in like a single month, but it's cool. We're back. I also have a new microphone, and if you can see, this is the corner of a garbage bag because I realized I have much better lights for filmmaking than I've been using. So here we are. Don't worry about it. Today, I'm very excited to present to you a new keyboard that I just got in. It's the Arisu by Nico and Steph Studios. This is a board that just kind of like magically appeared one day. It was on the Mech. Let me adjust focus real quick while I'm talking. It was on the Mech Group Buys Discord channel, but it wasn't a group buy. It just showed up as if it was, but it was in stock, so I grabbed one. And it's an Alice style 65% board that I have in frosted acrylic. And we're going to be putting Hyperglide MX blacks in it from 3D Keys. Just got those in and got them lubed. So I think, how's the focus now? Better. Yes, better. Okay, that's it for what we're up to today. I'm hyped. I'm very excited. I took a week off, like I said, and I'm feeling it. I got a new automation. Check this out. This little up button on my light switch turns on my fume extractor now, which is great. Now I don't have to move my hand and click it with a mouse because that was just such a taxing thing in my life. But anyways, we're back. I also apologize if the audio is a bit scuffed. I ordered a cloud lifter, which is a basically it just lifts the gain of your mic a little bit without the preamp in your audio interface having to do it, which helps a ton on mics like this. However, Amazon did not deliver it and they marked it as lost. And so I asked them for another one and they are sending it to me, but it won't be here till Thursday. So I may end up receiving a second one if the lost one ever shows up. I don't know. But anyways, if it sounds weird or bad, let me know. But otherwise, yeah, that's what we got. As you can see, build command. It, for whatever reason, isn't printing out on screen, but it is showing the build. So here's the PCB of what we're building today. You can see Nico and Steph Studios. Haven't heard of them before, but I am very excited to be building this board. It is hot swappable, so there will be no soldering today, which is a travesty, but that's okay. We like hot swap here. And they also shipped all the acrylic pieces in like folded plastic, which I thought was cool because it keeps the layers separate in these almost like sandwiched containers, which especially for a layer like this, which I'm not messing up, it helps everything stay kind of straight and aligned. But yeah, we'll be using, it'll be a polycarb plate with Hyperglide MX blacks. So very excited to be dipping into this. And then as well, they sent a really nice tool for assembly and a bag of parts. So let's get this packaging out of the way. Also, I'm like going to be like orbiting this microphone because I usually am not used to have to doing that, but that's all right. We're also going to be using GMK Laser M170 keycaps, hopefully if the set fits. Actually, if it doesn't, I don't know what we're going to use because that's the only set I brought home from work. I keep all my keyboard stuff at work. But anyways, first and foremost, we're going to need some stabs. So we're going to need a backspace, we're going to need an enter, we're going to need a shift, and we're going to need 2 spacebar. So what is that, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2-use stabs. Seems reasonable. Also, for those of you watching, whether it's here on Twitch or YouTube, I really appreciate it. I usually say it in my intro, but I forgot this time, but I truly do. I've had more and more people joining in on the YouTube side, and that's been really fun. So thank you for watching, and I super appreciate it. But anyways, let us go ahead and grab our pieces. Oh, I flicked a stab stem. Also, I will need to grab the grubby mat at some point, but let's get this guy back out of here. And this guy back out of here. Anyways, I had a bit of a staycation last week. My wife is starting school soon. She's done with her undergrad, but she's going to PA school for 2 years. So that's starting up this summer. So we wanted to take a little bit of a break and just hang out before that started. So that was super fun. Just kind of bummed around. Not really. I mean, we did stuff. We worked on things. I built I did some woodworking because I just got a new table saw and some other stuff, but it was good. But that's why I wasn't streaming. I just was like, I'm on vacation. I'll stream later. And I was right, because here I am. All right, let's get these screws as well. I think that's all we need out of here. How does the mic sound? Hopefully good. Hopefully we don't have any more like weirdness like last time. I don't know. Not sure. It happens. Let's get these. Let's pull the grubby mat out. And also my lubing supplies. All right. I also got more Cryotox 205 grade 2, which is significantly thicker than grade 0, and it's kind of a good upgrade from dielectric grease. It stabs when you're wherever the wire and the plastic meet. So we'll be using that today. And I got a big tube of it, so it should last me forever. And I put it in a syringe so I can like directly inject it into the stems, which is cool. Okay, so we have our wires, our stems, and our housings. Let's grab, you guys don't get to see into this very often, but look at that. We'll need the 205 grade 2, which, like I said, I put in a syringe. 205 grade 0. We'll need the holder for the stems. We'll need some paintbrushes. We'll need a holder for the paintbrushes and the holder. I think that's it. Anything else? Maybe I'll grab some band-aids because we might do a band-aid mod on this guy. We might, actually, I might just use tape. That'll be fine. Okay. Alrighty. So first I'll lube the, if y'all are regulars, you know how this works, but I'll lube the inside of the housings. This part's nice and chill. It's kind of nice to have something consistent every build. But guys, also, can I just say, I am so excited about next week's build. I don't mean to diminish this week's build by glossing over it at all, because this is a great build and I think it'll be really fun. But next week, I'm not going to spoil it, but if all my shipment, I have one shipment that I need to come in, and if it makes it, then we'll do it. Otherwise, we'll wait one more week. But I am so excited about it. It may be, if it looks in my head, I'm just talking aesthetically here, and actually probably acoustically it'll be great as well. I mean, I'm sure it will be actually, but just aesthetically, this might be one of my favorite boards. that I've ever done. Not to like set myself up for failure by overhyping this build, but it should be great. One of my all-time favorite keycap sets. That's what I'm waiting on. I was unable to purchase this before, but I found a seller on Mech Market with a very reasonable price. And so he shipped that out today. And I should get it in this week, but anyways. I'm psyched over the moon. So tune in next week. I will be here building a sweet, sweet keeb. Alrighty. About half done with the housings here. I've always wondered if it might be worth finding some way to, because I think in general, the concept with stabilizers is to lubricate where plastic meets plastic and to take up space where there's extra play that leads to rattling, right? I mean, basic stuff. But sometimes there's extra play, and I know it's necessary for like bad tolerances on stems or switches or caps, I mean, or whatever, but like between the stem and the housing. So I've always wondered if like you could put like 205 G2. I think it would probably just leak right out the bottom, which is the problem and maybe why people don't do that. But sometimes I'm like convinced that some of the rattle just comes from that. I don't know. So I want to do some experimentation with some stabilizers and see what sounds good, but also I have my AC running, so if it's noisy and obnoxious, let me know. Hopefully it's not, especially with this mic. You kind of have to eat it to be heard anyways, so I'm hoping that that mitigates any sound. I did turn off all my crypto mining because that really cranks up the fans in this room, but you know. All right. There's one more of these housings left. Well, that is one weird thing, is that now I have a mic stand. I can also flip this so that the stand is above the mic, you know, and the mic kind of like hangs from the stand, which works well. It just takes up more screen real estate, although that might be better than, because it's like, even if it's like 30% of my screen is such a small, you know, this is so small in comparison, so that's probably fine. It's only when we get to this scene, you know, where it matters. Or the bruh scene. Bruh. I don't use that enough. Like, it took me a while to get that set up, and I just don't use it enough. Even though I have plenty of bruh moments, I just try to, like, ignore them and play it off like it's all cool. You know? Alright. So that is all of our stems, or our housings. So now I'm just going to do a quick wash over the stem, and then we'll try out our new injection method. Usually I had a little tiny tube of Krytox that I would squeeze in there, but it seemed a lot more efficient to do this. I need to be careful that I don't just shoot it and waste money. Okay, so far it's working pretty well, but I will say definitely a slow flow rate on this needle tip, which is probably good. I mean, it's nice that it's not just like rocketing out of here. All right, and then let's also take the housing and we'll inject a little bit right here. You guys probably can't even tell what I'm doing from all the way up there. All right, let's zoom in. All right. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take this syringe and squeeze some Krytox right in there. That looks good. All right, and now we take the stem, put it in like that, and then this goes in, and there should be Krytox in that little clip where I just injected it and in the stem where I injected it. And indeed there is. Feels pretty decent. Maybe a little sluggish, interestingly. I mean, that is the risk of doing that, you know. You don't want it to be super sluggish, but you do want it to be smooth and quiet. Those are, I would take, to a degree, I would take sluggish over loud. It just depends. Like if your key feels mushy or it's just not returning very well, which tends to happen more on like the 7 or 6.25U stabs, then I don't like that, but it's generally okay to do this. There we go. So there's that. And then on this housing, we'll Krytox a little bit in there. There we go. All right. We will also get these attached and some switches installed just to feel out how we're doing before we get much further, or before we really commit to this. Now, due to the fact that it's not that it is a hotspot board, there's a little less of a concern because it's obviously super easy just to pop your switches out, but you know, still try to do it right. All right. Cool. Also, I apologize. I'm getting some messages. I'm in the midst of okay, cool. Y'all ever heard of Chia cryptocurrency? Because I have, maybe more than I should have. Not really. I'm in it real deep right now, and I'd like to get some returns. It's a new crypto, new-ish, that is a proof of time and space. So you fill your hard drives with digital bingo cards, and if you're one of the lucky 4,000 people a day who gets their bingo number called, then you get some Chia tokens, which are currently around $800 a piece. But it is not as simple as it would seem. Obviously, you know, there's no such thing as too good to be true. But anyways, it takes quite a while to generate one of those digital bingo cards, as it were, and it's not been easy. I've put a lot of effort into it so far, and I'm hoping that eventually I'll get a decent return now that I've joined a pool. But all that to say, I'm maintaining a build machine right now that's spitting out, they're called plots. So if I'm a bit distracted, it's because I'm working on that. All right, 2 stabs down, 3 to go. Really more like 1.5 because we're half done with all 3. Quick math. All right. You know what I just realized? I spent probably 20 minutes today trying to make an automation. It shouldn't have taken this long, to be fair. It should have taken me 5 minutes. But I couldn't remember how to do it in Home Assistant, and I finally remembered how to make an automation tied to a button press on my Pico remote to turn on my fume extractor. And I don't need a fume extractor for this build because it's hot swap. Joke's on me. That's my bad. I was so excited. And actually, if I get all the parts shipments in for next week's build, I won't need one then either, because as much as I love me a good solder build, and I will be doing plenty of those, this build that I'm hyping up right now is not... It's also a hot swap. Which actually, it's funny, I didn't expect that because the product listing did not say that it was hot swap, but you know, one of life's little miracles, you know. All right. So far, I feel like I like this syringe. It seems, while a bit harder to squeeze, definitely a little bit easier to control exactly where I want the G2. So it might actually be more economical because I might waste a little less. We'll see. This stuff is not cheap though. Like I think it was a 6-ounce thing of it was like, or no, it was it 2 ounces? That was like $60. Ridiculous. But eventually it gets paid for by client orders and whatever, but usually just barely. It's usually, I mean, most of my materials are like a break-even kind of situation, which is fine. I do it because I love it. All right. One left. This is always the boring part of every stream. You know, a wise duck detective once told me that he does this before stream, and every single stream while I'm doing this, I think to myself, I should do that too. And then it just falls out the back of my brain. And then the next stream comes around and I'm like, why didn't I remember this? But it's fine. We're vibing. It's cool here. All right, last stem. And then we move on to preliminary case assembly, which by that I mean I will figure out where the layers go and potentially look for a build guide online, which I should have done. But I did not. You know how I be. Okay. Nice. Nice. Those feel good. Look good, feel good, hopefully sound good. Also shouts out to Divinity, this glass jar of 205G0. Amazing. Feels great. Love it. I've been using it a lot lately. Doing a lot of prep work for builds. Okay. I think we're done with Grubby Mat already. Can you believe that? Rama had a flash sale this morning of their little parts trays that just look great. But I was like, I don't want to spend $70 on like a polished, nicely finished anodized aluminum tray to just throw stuff in and scratch. Not to mention that I feel like that's kind of off-brand for me. I'm like very much scrappy. Everything's falling apart, barely get it done, kind of. Not really. More like it works in spite of itself. I'm not selling myself very well, am I? Don't worry, if you send me your keyboard, I will build it correctly. All right, let us attach these. And also, let me grab some tape. Let us attach these to the board. Let's get some tape, little pads. You can tell me till you're blue in the face that the Band-Aid mod is dead, but I'll still be here, potentially needlessly attaching tiny pieces of tape to my keyboard PCBs. I don't even care. Takes me like a minute. It's fine. At the very least, it keeps that extra Crytox off my PCB, which I don't know. I don't know how important that is. Let me do something real quick. I want to make sure that the audio sounds at least halfway decent. Let me pull up the Twitch app on my phone. This is how I always check. Switch my headphones over. Check. Oh, hey. This actually sounds really nice. Cool. Good for me. Good for us all. All right, let's continue. All right, got those stabs down. tape at least. I'm very excited about this combo. It's a white frosted case with the GMK laser set, but not the one with the two-tone where like everything is like that dark navy with the light blue legends. I think so it'll be nice and uniform. Maybe I'll toss on, you know, the light colored Enter if I'm feeling spicy, but I think for now, I think it'll look great. We'll save that. That'll be a game time decision when I have the whole keycap set dumped out on this mat, because I am serving up that kind of chaotic energy 24/7. Okay. All right. Let us attach these stabs. But yeah, I don't know. I thought about getting in on that Rama little parts tray thing, but because they are pretty. But to be honest, like every time I go into Harbor Freight, I grab one of those little magnetic parts trays, and it's like, why wouldn't I just keep doing that? They're like $1 and they're magnetic. I don't know if the Rama ones are or not. They probably are. They're really well made. Also, did you see their chest set? Oh man, I am like drooling over that chest set, and I've like gotten close to clicking the buy link multiple times. However, A, it's $260 plus shipping from Australia, so you know there's that. But B, I feel like it's kind of like, as pretty and minimal as it is, I feel like that set, it's still hard to tell what the pieces are. Like, that's my biggest beef with novelty chess sets. It's like, oh, we're playing Star Trek chess. This is really cool until we're no longer in the starting formation, and I don't know, you know, what this Ferengi is. I don't know what this represents. That's a kind of a niche gripe, but I just don't like it. I like if you're, maybe say like if it's like a Lord of the Rings thing and your knight is actually like a character on a horse, cool, right? As long as I can tell. But as soon as I can't and I need like a translation guide, then I'm not really playing chess anymore. I'm just like decoding stuff on a board. Maybe I am. I don't know. Wouldn't that be funny? Like, in the Queen's Gambit, she comes down in that hotel to play against Borgov, and it's just like a Muppets chess set, and you have no idea what any of the pieces are. I don't know why that tickles me. That would be amazing. Someone make that edit. I would love to see it. Also, that's not a spoiler for Queen's Gambit. It's literally the first scene, I think. It's a flash forward, but it's still the first scene, so don't yell at me. Just go watch the show. It's great. Okay. Stabs have been stabbed. So far, so good. Let us check one thing. Arisu. Build guide. Look at that. Thank you, Nico and Steph. Look at this lovely Google document. All right. Oh, hey, test the PCB. Thank you for reminding me. I always forget to do that. And this is a great time. So let's pull up our key tester. Hey, it enumerated. All right. Control. Alt. Space. This is Windows. As my Windows key frantically. There's also space. Alt. Left. I do like the arrow cluster. It's a thing that I'm torn on though, because one of the things that I love about Alice builds is that, or Alice boards, is that they have a beautiful symmetry to them. So when you add the little nav cluster on the side, it's not quite as symmetrical, but having dedicated arrow keys is very nice. On my Switch Couture Alice that I built, I've been using that at work actually as an exclusive daily driver for a while. And I am at this point, what I did was I mapped the function key by my left thumb to switch to a layer where WASD, W-A-S and D are the arrow keys. And I am now very used to that, to the point where I will sometimes be at home on this tofu and I will hold down the space bar and use the WASD as if they're arrow keys. Just because I'm now conditioned. What is this? It's not doing anything, but that might be a function key. We will find out. Tab, Q. But yeah, so I think that's very efficient. However, if you're not used to it, or you just like having the arrow keys with your right hand, which I do kind of miss sometimes, then the nav cluster is great, which is why I was very excited to see this board pop up and add it to my collection. This is page down. That's page up. So that might be a function key. We can check by shorting it with a different pair of tweezers and trying the number keys, because dollars to donuts, the number keys are the F row when you have the function key held down. What kind of maniac would not have that kind of layout? So far, everything's good. So let's grab a second pair of tweezers to hold this down. And we'll try one of these. Yes, indeed, that's a function key. Great. All right, folks. We're back. We've tested it. We've done our due diligence. We've installed our stabilizers. Now it's time to peel the protective film off the acrylic layers. Okay. All right. Very loosely tighten the standoffs. I'm assuming, yeah, this is for a foot. Great. Then 3 more layers. Attach the PCB to the plate. Neat. Okay, well, we'll start where they say to start. Let's not get ahead of themselves. All right, so this looks like our foot. I don't think these layers are involved. I think this is going to be our base. And then those two are going to be our foot. If I'm not mistaken. I just need to break into this. All right. Well, protect your ears, chat. Okay, we got it. We're in, boys. All right, so I'm gonna stack this. This would be our plate. It's the only one with switch cutouts, so yes, this should fit on here like this. Perfect. No compatibility issues with the Durox stabs. Love it. Put it aside for the time being. But this would be our foot, which will go on like this right here. And let's make sure that the USB cutout lines up correctly before I get too far. And it do. Look at that. Excellent. All right, so let's get to peeling. First, we'll peel this guy. Nice, easy peel. Very satisfying to peel this stuff. Plus, it's nice to leave it on for shipping. Just to keep scratches away. This is probably the best protected acrylic sheeting that I've ever seen on a stacked acrylic board, because it came in this paper but also in another layer of plastic and then in bubble wrap in a cardboard box. So big ups to Nico and Steph for their care for protecting the customer's product. I do appreciate it. Also, I just love this frosted look. You'll notice I'm not wearing gloves here because unless my fingers are really greasy, which they probably are, I should probably wipe them down. You don't leave fingerprints as much on like acrylic boards. So just make sure that that is not the case before I continue this peeling. Ah! I always do that. I get too fast, and this papery stuff likes to start tearing out near holes, like such as. All right. Y'all, I just got to say something too. I am disappointed. And the reason is that there's this keyboard called the Whimsy. It's a little 40% keyboard with an OLED display and a rotary encoder, and it is adorable and very cool. And I've been looking forward to it for quite a while, but it just isn't coming out. I'm part of the 14. 14 is the group that's making it. I think they're European based, I believe. No shade to them, but obviously these things are tough and supply chain issues and all that. But yeah, I'm just sitting here waiting for that group buy. Come on, guys. I guess it gives me more time to agonize about which color I want, because they have pink and white and black, and they all look amazing. Even the pink one. Normally not a huge pink keyboard guy. Don't have a lot of keycap sets. This is nice. That would work well with it, but it's just so cute. I feel like a black on white keycap set with a pink board would be amazing. But, you know. All right. Use the 4 M2.5 by 12 screws to go through the 2 bottom riser pieces through the base screw on the 4 standoffs. Well, this is the bag that has the standoffs, so we'll dip into this first. So we're gonna stab this, and then this, and then this. Now, am I doing this back? Oh yes, there is an alignment to this because of that USB port. So this needs to flip over. There we go. Okay. So little one, big one, base plate. Now, I believe there are only 2 sizes of screws here. And these little ones are too short to reach. Therefore, with my massive IQ, I have deduced that I need to use the long ones. Are you impressed? Thank you. Mostly because my dumb American brain doesn't understand millimeters, and these are, God bless them, these are metric screws. And I just wish the US used metric. And I know I want to be the change I want to see in the world and go for it. But it's so hard for my monkey brain to convert from the thing that I know, which is inches and freedom units, to the blessed and sacred system that is metric. I just struggle with it every day. Very loosely tighten these. Oh, that's right. I'm guessing they will fit in a hexagonal manner into the next piece. But the 5mm screws need to go into these standoffs. This makes sense to my monkey brain. I will attach these. All right. I like how on the on-screen chat, due to the fact that for whatever reason, it didn't want to render the build message from CloudBot, it just looks like the Streamlabs bot just cursed. Thanks, bud. Okay, 3 more layers. Now that would be these small layers, like such. And like these ones are have a straight top and bottom, and these ones have a curve that appears to follow the underside here. So at least that's what it's looking like to me. So I'll grab the rest of those. Got some more. Do you like when I just reach off screen to the mystery void that is the rest of my office? And just produce stuff. You don't know what's over there. All right. Let's do a little peeling. So yes, this would be the case where now I'm rotating these standoffs in order to facilitate this hexagonal opening, and I will tighten them down when that is done. There we go, because they're Phillips on the other side. Isn't that neat? Yes, I agree. Thank you. Okay, next piece is down. We'll just follow these around with further layers. I like this music. This is Chris Missoura. He's a pretty cool guy. I found out about his stuff on Instagram. I reached out to him and was able to license this music through a service called MusicBed. But he's I believe he lives in New York, or he at least did for a time, and pretty cool. He would just like sit down on a fire escape in New York City and with a MacBook and just produce beats, and I thought it was really rad and very, very talented. I originally found out about him because he's just a super talented electric guitar player, and I loved watching him play, and then he just started producing these awesome chill beats. Even produced a vinyl that I picked up, which is fun if you're just making coffee in the morning, want to hang out, put on a record. It's pretty cool. So if you're interested in his music, it's on Spotify. I'm not affiliated or anything, I'm just a fan. So Chris Missoura, you can see, oh, it's gone now, but underneath my name, a lot of the music that I play is from him. So but honestly, any of these artists that I have on here, check them out. They're cool. I like them. All right, one layer down. It says to put on 3. So that I will do. I also really like MusicBed as a service because they will, when I upload these build logs to YouTube, they'll usually get flagged for copyright, which doesn't mean anything because my channel's not monetized because it's very small. Which, by the way, if you're interested in finding it, to check out these build logs later. And I will try to be posting more stuff in the future, but here's my YouTube link. But yeah, they will, as long as they know the URL of your YouTube channel, and that's like in your profile, they will go remove those copyright strikes, or not copyright strikes, but like the thing when YouTube detects copyrighted music on your claims, I guess, I don't know, which is pretty neat. It's very automated, and so for like a several hour build log, I'll upload it and it'll have played like multiple songs, and I'll have like an email thread that's like 40 emails long of just MusicBed has worked with Google to release this claim over and over and over, for every song that I played, which that's a pretty cool service. I don't have to do anything. All I did was when I set up my profile, I put my YouTube URL in there, and then they just went for it. So I think that they can do that for Twitch as well, because I have noticed that on Twitch, sometimes like portions of my streams will be muted on the VODs, but I honestly haven't had too much concern about it, because it's usually only like in the intro or the be right back screen when I'm not talking anyways. It'd be annoying if I was like in the middle of explaining something and then, RGA Music Group decided that was not important because their music was underneath and just muted it. That would be annoying. But it generally seems like it only happens in parts where the music is loud and there's no voices, so it's easy to recognize. But anyways, MusicBed, they're cool. Also not sponsored, just I like shouting out things that I like, things that I use, things that work for me. Okay. We are 2 1/4 layers deep. This is interesting. I like the standoffs. The hexagonal standoff cuts specifically. I am a big fan of that. It works pretty well. Oops, this piece goes down here. Alrighty. Gonna be a lot of peeling this episode, and I realize I'm doing most of it off camera because I pull things up to my face, which, yeah, it's like right there, right where you can't see them. Not that you need like intense instructions on how to peel paper off of acrylic, but you know. All right, hey. So here's the last piece. Put that down. Next, the instructions say to attach the PCB to the plate. So we will use the 8 M2 by 8 screws, which we used, I think, M2.5 by 5 and M2.5 by 8, or M2.5 by 12. So that would be these guys. So we'll put the screw. Is there a difference between these nuts? Yes, these are a little bit thinner. Okay, so there's 1.6 and there's 2. So the 2s are the ones that are used on the plate to go through the plate, which I will grab. And then the 1.6s look like they go on the back of the plate. Great. Do not over tighten. Good. Okay. All right, let's do that. Let's peel this first. Always like to thoroughly read my instructions. Again, probably should have read them before I came on stream, but you know. It's always better to overread the instructions than to rush through something assuming you know how it works and then mess it up and then think that it's not your fault, because it is your fault. This part always takes me a while because just with the intricacies of a switch plate and all the little right angles that the paper takes, it definitely takes a little patience. Are you in chat the kind of people who like, okay, my entire life I've done this and no one ever prompted me to, I've just done this. You get a clementine, right? A little tiny orange, and you're sitting there eating lunch. You gotta do it in one piece, right? I feel like I've always done it that way. And I know that there's multiple approaches. My default, my go-to is I will peel a strip around the circumference, the equator of the orange, if you will, and then almost complete it, but not quite. And then when I get to the other side, I just lift on the top and the bottom to like pop the top cap and the bottom cap off. If you can imagine this. I'm probably doing a terrible job of explaining it. And then you're left with a single piece of orange slice that is kind of shaped like an elephant. You know, it's got the 2 round ears and then a little trunk. I don't know. Maybe that's weird. That's how I've always done it. One piece. It's always very disappointing if you mess it up. But kind of reminds me of this. That's the point of this anecdote. Is that it feels like this. Come on. I'm already, as I'm saying this, I'm ripping it. I've looped around come back to the top. Maybe that's the play. Maybe you go diagonally down the thing so that there's only 45 degrees. Ooh, that's feeling good. Uh-oh. Oh no. Yep. The jig is up. I got a little straggler piece already, so that's not too bad. Just this. We take those. And these. There we go. Pretty good. Next side. All right. We'll try my new diagonal method. So far it seems to be working, except for the parts where the paper gets so thin. So this would be a stack style mount, or not really a tray mount. It's more like a sandwich mount, but without any rubber gaskets. But to be completely honest with you, I feel like this is like blasphemy or like a very unpopular opinion. But personally, I've found that gaskets on a keyboard, the rubber bumpers that hold the plate up, really mostly alter your typing experience, not the sound as much as you would think. It does change the sound, but I think also I've done goofed it. Oh, actually, can we save this? Can we save this run? We can. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's really, I think, more of a feel, you know, than a sound. And I tend to be more of a sound guy than a feel guy. Like, I'll get switches that I think feel good, you know, your inks, your holy pandas or your kiwis or what have you, right? But other than that, I like sound more, and I found that like polycarbonate stack pretty good. It can go toe to toe with some of the rest of them in terms of sounding good. Palm, oh mama, I love me a palm plate. It's so good. And you want to talk about feel, a palm plate has so much like softness to it. It's delicious. Someday I want to do a build where like everything is palm. Like the switches, like use cream switches that are made of palm, use a plate, and it'll just be the butter board. I'm here for it. I'm so close. I can taste it. I'm losing viewers because I'm taking forever and being very picky about getting it in one piece. Don't worry, I'm almost done. Thank you for sticking it out if you're still here. Okay. I think that's it. Have a little booger on the corner, but there we go. All right, now let's get this PCB attached to this plate. Beauty. All right, so we will go with the screw through the front, then this 20 mil spacer, which I can attach like this, but not too tight. Very nice. I like it. This socket is great. I'm gonna keep this in my tool drawer. Let's get all these through here. It has been so, like, such a dramatic weather shift. I know, I'm talking about the weather on stream. Don't worry. I swear I'm more interesting than this, but just how warm it got in Montana over the last week was really nice. Good taste of summer. Biked everywhere while I was on my little vacation. It was delightful. But it honestly got kind of hot. It was like 90 Fahrenheit, which I don't know what that is in Celsius. What would that be? Like, it's not 40. 90 F2, let's see. 32. Yeah. 40 is insane. 40 is like probably like 115, right? So that's 46. Okay. Obviously, again, my American monkey brain really struggles with the better unit. 104, that's 40 in Celsius. Anyways, still hot. At least for me. I don't know. I'm more of a winter person, but it was still great. Get out in the sun, hang out by the water. I even did some golfing because I'm an old man who does those things. It's great. Thoroughly enjoyed my retirement. All right, last screw. I appreciate separating the 2 and the 1.6 millimeters nuts. That's really nice. All right. Let's align these screws with their corresponding holes. Let me get some pliers to assist, because one thing I did notice is that there's a tiny bit of play on the screws. So I didn't tighten them a ton because I think I'll have to kind of guide them to their final destination. In fact, I might loosen them a touch again. Just a hint. I can always re-tighten them. Once I have the board in place. But I also don't want to go too tight and crack the polycarbonate. That would be very sad. Okay. Whoop. Oh no, I'm smacking everything around. Let me move this assembly to the side, just to keep it safe from me. I think I need to align this a little bit straighter before I drop it down. And maybe loosen this one a touch as well. Pardon me as I smack my ear on the microphone. Okay. Oh, one left. Everything else is kind of dropped down to place. There we go. I think we're in. Oh no, I lifted it up. Okay. Great. Now, before I lose this, let me open up this bag. And get some of these corner ones on. Cool. Sweet. That should hold things on pretty well. It's like when you're tightening a tire, you know? You gotta go corner to corner. One thing I'm realizing I should have done is used the existing assembly that we built earlier as kind of a platform to hold this up, because these stabilizer stems stick down further than the plate, meaning the plate wants to just drop away from it. But if I was resting the plate on this assembly, that probably wouldn't have happened. But in fact, it's likely that there's a better way to do this that the instructions said, but okay. I think I have a couple more of these to go. I'm trying to look. Ah, yes, here's one. Nice. And there's one up there, and I have one more of these, so that's probably the last one. Great. Cool. So now we have a completed plate assembly. So let's pop a couple switches in it and see how we're doing. These are Hyperglide MX blacks from 3D Keybs. They are filmed with formerly known as TX, but now Mekibo films, and lubed with 204G0. And the springs have a 105 and Tribosis mix. So a lot of stuff going on here, but let's get some critical switches and corners just to hold everything in place. And make sure we're fitting all right. I will make sure that the plate is lifted correctly as well. Everything should be easier though. I like this like nut and bolt assembly. That's pretty unique. I think a lot of times people will just allow the plate to, allow everything to float, but due to the fact that this is hot swappable, that helps. Because these are not soldered in. Got some of these switches in. So far, so good. I will also sometimes use a switch puller to kind of lift the plate around the switch, but that's seemingly a bit unnecessary here because it seems like it's just working for the most part. So quick note, there are no LEDs or holes for through-hole LEDs on this PCB, so if you are an LED head, keep that in mind. I am not. I very much dislike LEDs, so this is great for me, but just know that. Well, hold on, before I say that, 100% sure. Yes, I do not see any underglow LEDs. However, this will fit 5-pin switches, so for all of your modern switch needs, this is going to support them, which is great because I hate clipping legs off of switches, and I've actually more than once not used a switch for a board because I did not want to cut its legs off. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I will show you. So on a key switch, this is review class if you know this already, but on a key switch, there are 2 metallic pins. There's usually a fairly thin one and a fairly thick one. These 2 pins are shorted together when the switch is pressed. That is how a keystroke is detected. And then there's a center pin that helps with alignment. Now, on a 3-pin switch, those are the only 3 you get. And what can happen is that on a non-hot swap board, or even on a hot swap board, there's usually a little bit of play around these 2 switches, and since this is in the center, it can twist a little bit, and so you might not have every key switch lined up correctly. So with the 5-pin switch, you get an extra 2 plastic pins that are generally a little bit tighter of a tolerance when they're inserted into the board. They're non-conductive and they're just here for alignment, and the keyboard looks a lot better when all the switches are lined up correctly and none of them are, you know, all cattywampus on there. So sometimes you'll have a PCB that does not support a 5-pin switch, so you go in with a flush cut trimmer and you trim these off, but it feels like a crime because especially if it's a hot swap board and you're gonna go in and take the switches out later, which I have a set of blueberries that I cut the legs off of, and now those are just sitting there, 3-pin switches, just sad and legless. I mean, they still have the 3, but I don't know, I just don't like to do it. They're so nice to have, especially on a plateless board. Like I built a Nibble by Nullbits, and that did not have a plate. They sell one now, but at the time they didn't. And so just trying to get everything lined up correctly was very difficult. And I did not quite fully succeed, and I need to go back in and desolder and resolder. And I've actually considered desoldering the whole thing and putting in a plate. Also, I'm just now realizing that I have not tested out my stabs, so before I get much further, I'm going to put in every switch where a stab goes and test those out, just in case I need to take this assembly apart. I sincerely hope not, but... Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. We can actually set this whole thing here where it will go. And let me grab some keycaps. We are, like I said, using GMK Laser M, I think it's M170 is the variant that has all navy caps. And it's a really good looking set. And it does have the necessary space bars to facilitate this. So I think it's the 1.25 and the 2.25 and the 2.75. Sounding good. These, I will remove these keycaps, but ooh, that's nice. They're not even going to be the right keycaps. How about that? No rattle at all. They're not. This one's maybe a little sluggish. So that is, I guess, something to consider about my direct injection method. But for the most part, these feel great. And ooh. Absolutely no rattle. We are cooking with grease, quite literally, because Crytox is grease. So, great. Excellent, excellent. I'm happy with this. Durox stabs are just a workhorse. They work very well. They have for years. And they will probably in the future. These are the V. I think these are actually the V1 stabs. I don't have a set of V2s because I ordered these in bulk, but the next order that I do, I will get the V2s. Ugh. Just pop these out. A couple of these. The plate doesn't have a lot of reach around the switch, so the switch will sometimes pop out. Totally fine, totally normal. All right. So let's continue then. In that light, in the knowledge that everything will be fine. It's a good spot to be. These are linear switches. These are Hyperglide MX Blacks. I think they look really nice. They look good. Oh. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Let me see if I can fish that out. I have angled tweezers. I think we can do this. I apologize. I'm assuming by your username you are the titular Nico of Nico and Steph. And the last thing I want to do is trigger you. Hey, look at that. Thank you. Good call. QA has been passed. Appreciate it. Alrighty. Sometimes what can happen when you film a switch, which is putting in a little piece of plastic between the top and bottom housing, is that they don't always sit fully. So sometimes they don't quite fit in a tight plate. And this plate has relatively tight tolerances, which is good for feel. If your plate is loose, sometimes you'll have just slop and it doesn't feel great. So just gotta make sure that all the pins are aligned and everything is hunky-dory. Well, hey, now there's gonna be one that's not. To be honest, I don't know if I've ever looked for a QC sticker on a PCB before in a build. I should check for those now. I wonder how often those actually get put on. Maybe I should, if I start noticing them, make a little collection of QC stickers. Whoop. I dropped one. Don't worry. I'll get it later. Sorry, I realize this is a bad angle to watch from, but I'm just... There's no magic here, I'm just stuffing switches into this board. All right. Almost done with the right half. Let me pop that out. I think I mushed the pin a little bit. I did. Let's use a different one. There we go. Let's get this guy in. And then let's flip her around. Whoa. Let's also, yeah, use the little lift trick just a touch. I built a you can actually go back and watch the VOD, but one of the earlier builds that I did was a KBD Fans Epic, like a Dolch Pack replica keyboard, and it had a carbon fiber plate. And oh my word, that was impossible to fit switches into. I was bleeding by the time I had them all in. So I kind of like started to try to avoid tight tolerance plates for a while, but now I'm like, I've had enough loose boards that I've built since then that I'm like, nope, it's definitely better this way. You just got to take the time and care to fit them. I think this switch is another one where it's not quite fully closing, so let's try another one. There we go. Yeah. There's nothing quite as satisfying as a switch just dropping in, especially on a hot swap where it's just fits perfectly. All right, once this install is done, we will test it again just to make sure that I haven't munched up any switches. Obviously, it'll be easy to fix even post completion, but ooh, okay. Good to know. I love palm plates. That is my favorite plate material. What do you have coming up? Is it more like Alice style Arisu, or is there another keyboard kind of in the future for you guys? I'm assuming upcoming rounds would refer to rounds of this board, but you never know. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Add switches, done. All right, test. Oh, good. The instructions even say test the PCB again. Sweet. Round 2 Arisu. Love it. Let's pull up switch hitter. Or this is via, but same. Page up, page down. I need to get page down to work. Function key is working. I must have just gubbed up that one key. Let's see how many more there are. These MX Blacks feel good. Great. So it's just this key. It's not working. Let's identify the issue. Ah, it would be a bent pin. The most common of issues. Just issue a replacement. Try it again. There we go. Done and dusted. Great. Mid layers would be one piece instead of 4. Okay, cool. That'd be neat. Okay. Great. Place the plate on top of the case. Place the remaining 2 top layers, which would be these guys. Let's see, are they the same? They appear to be. Also, one thing that I love, like in this, there's some cool stacked acrylic boards that have layers of different widths from each other. You know what I mean? Kind of like a waterfall effect. But for the most part, I really like the ones where all the layers have the same exterior shape. That Switch Couture Alice was like that. Let's actually just tear this to make it easier. And this is that way as well, where every layer, it's not like every subsequent layer is bigger than the other one. But anyways, well, cool. You heard it here first, folks. Round 2 of Arisu coming soon. You can get a palm plate for it, potentially. That's very exciting. Same colorways, the frosted and the black. Or are you experimenting with anything new kind of in that arena? Great. So we'll put this one down. Oh, hey, they are different. This one has little cutouts for the screws. Sneaky. Look at that. Okay, cool. Blue cases, that's interesting. I just saw, I think it's Keyhive was announcing a new like mini Alice, like a 40% Alice that had blue cases. It's kind of cool. All right. Last peel of the build, y'all. Yeah, this one has little holes and cutouts for the screw heads. That's great. I love it. It's kind of got a... Yeah, we'll just peel this here. There we go. All right, so this is the second to last layer, and then the last layer. Very cool. All right. And then we will put in these last screws. Very gently, just not to blow up our beautiful board. This really is coming together nicely. Oh, I think I'm not quite aligned on this guy. Let's get maybe some of these popped in and that might help. Oh, I definitely need to charge the screwdriver. Nice thing is this thing has like no torque, therefore it couldn't even explode a keyboard if it wanted to, which is nice. Also, the sound test will be a little bit different today since this is a new mic. So hopefully they sound good. I did some ones just kind of pre-stream, just messing around, and they sounded great. But all right, we'll keep this out. Done with this. Let's put the feet on too. I'm a rubber feet guy. All right. We got 6 today. We'll start with the 4 corners. Scoop that up a touch. And then actually we'll probably need one here in addition to here. And here. We'll put one under the USB port. Well, we'll try to align it somewhat. We'll never see those. Oh yeah, there we go. Great. Done. Next, I will put on the caps. And again, it's just chaos over here, so I apologize. Don't need the space bars. What have we here? Backspace. I am feeling the lighter enter key. I think that'll be a good move. So down arrow, right arrow. Here's the small shift. And then the big space bar. Let's flip this potentially. We'll circle back on that. This large shift is for full-size boards. This enter is not necessary. Here's an alt. I'm trying to remember. I think this was alt. And let's see which size. I believe this is too large. Yes, it is. Let me just pull up switch hitter just so I can confirm though which keys these are. This one is Windows, so this would be system, but that one's too big. F row keys we don't need. All right. C, F keys again. Don't need them. Big control. Don't need it. Well, X. Control. Here's the left shift. Here's another big control. I believe this is alt, so we don't need this one. And this is Alt as well. Page up and page down are here. So we will just have home and end. F key. Here's the page up. I might use a different profile if it's available. Not sure yet. G. Tab. We already have a tab. Why did I get 2 tabs with this set? Here's page down. It's interesting. We are not using the stepped caps lock. I believe this is 7. Ooh, this escape key I do like. Function was this key. This would be the system key. We'll just put code on there for now. Okay. Pipe slash, we'll use the larger one. 0. There was no delete or scroll lock. This is B is right here for the break. Whoa. I keep hitting like Windows key related combos that are like pulling things up in my... I believe I need a slightly larger Alt. We already have our control. CVB. I'm digging the way that this keycap set is looking though so far on this frosted. Little backspace. IOP. GH. Here's a big Alt. There. J. With the homing. I like the homing little indentation more than just like a more deeply scooped cap. There's a tiny shift key. TY. N is down here. M right here. Here's our caps lock. There's another page key. I. Quotation marks are here for enter. L is here. Oh, here's a taller page up. And then I believe this is the correct page down. Perfect. Two. Here's the Alt we need. Very nice. So we're done with the control. That guy. Ooh, it sounds good. I always try to like not push the keys very much because I like the surprise of how good it's gonna sound, but it sounded good. It sounded real good. Ah, here's our up arrow. back tick key. Here's our right arrow. Control, don't need it. Extra B. Oh, another. Keep pulling up the NVIDIA thing. So we're just looking for this key and the underscore. That would be him. Great. Okay. Look at that. That is a handsome board. I really like it. Let's do a sound test. How about that? All right. This is the Arisu frosted. Let's make sure that my audio source is good. Is there a filter on this mic? Yes, but it's off. We need some extra gain. Yeah, we do. There we go. Okay. It might be kind of noisy, but we'll have a cloud lifter next time. That should help. Okay. This is the Arisu Frosted with Hyperglide MX Blacks, Duroc B2 Stabs, and GMK Laser. Alrighty. That was great. From what I heard through my in-ear, that sounded really good. I'm a fan of this board. I like it. Let me check real quick what I paid for it. I do not think it was very much at all. Arisu. $159.63, and I think that included shipping to Montana. So that's pretty darn good. And then yeah, you chuck some linears in here, you put some Duroc stabs in this, and baby, you got a stew going. I really like it. I like Alice style builds. I like acrylic boards a lot. So this is kind of, I mean, maybe it's something that I would have liked no matter what, but honestly, I really do like this a lot. I think that a round 2 with complete mid layers would be nice, but I don't really know that I would notice it too much, you know, while I'm using it. I think if you're looking at it from the side, you can see the little seam, but other than that, it's not really that noticeable. And yeah, I really like it. I think a palm plate would be amazing with this. To be honest, if a round 2 came out that had a palm plate, the option for a stepped caps lock, and the solid mid layers, I'd probably be in for another one just because I like these Alice style acrylic boards so much. But yeah, anyways, that was really fun to build. Not too hard. Very comprehensive build guide. which is good. So, and it's VIA compatible. I mean, if anyone out there is nervous about programming a keyboard, I mean, look at this. It's even got the layout there for you. So, yeah, I highly recommend this board if you are looking for a first board, or even if you're not, if it's like your 5th board and you're just looking for a nice acrylic. This might boot my existing daily driver just because it has this nav cluster. We'll see. That's something that, you know, I do with my heart, not with my head. So we'll see. But thank you. I appreciate it. It does look nice. And thank you to Nico for being in chat. That was really cool to have you here. It's fun to have the creator of the board. Thank you guys for making this board. It's been fun to play with, and yeah, no, I'm ecstatic about this. I don't know that I could recommend it enough. There's nothing about it that I don't like, but I think if the mid layers were one piece and it had a palm plate, that would be like even more excellent. So I like it. And I don't know, I could see maybe if someone was really into RGB, wanting that in this board, but since I'm not, it's perfect. I find that most of the time when you do like surface mount LEDs on the bottom of a PCB in a board like this, you just get hot spots for days, and it doesn't look like what you would want it to look like. You'd almost need like EL wire or something to get it to look right, so I just always turn them off. But no, it looks good. I like the black hardware. I like the square edges. It's a really pretty board. So anyways, that is all I have for today. Thank you for joining me. It was a pleasure building this board. I will be back next week with the board that I teased earlier that I'm really, really excited about. So stay tuned for updates on that in the future, and may have some other non-keyboard related stuff. Absolutely. Yeah, you were more than welcome to use this VOD. I can also take photos of this board and send it to you as well, because at some point I'll be taking photos of all these boards that I built for thumbnails and Instagram and stuff. So I'll send you those as well. Yeah, anyways, this was super fun and I really enjoyed it, and I'll be back. I'm very excited about the things to come. So anyways, I have no more housekeeping or anything else to go over, but I appreciate you being here. And I will catch you guys next time. Let's find someone to raid, since I have 6 viewers right now. Look at this. Who is streaming right now that I would like to raid? Any suggestions? Anybody got a streamer that they think I should raid? Color Bruise is on. We raided her last time. She's great. Let's get my creator dashboard up. Also, yeah, Nico, my VOD will be on my YouTube channel as well. Just so you know, if it's easier to get to there. But yeah. Anyways, Stream Manager. Let's raid Color Bruise again. She's great. Maybe she'll draw something. Raid channel, Color Bruise. All right, guys. Have fun. Enjoy Color Bruise art. She's a pretty cool artist who does digital artwork. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time.